Little did we know then just how perfectly intertwined our lives would become. I gave my all to the children and youth that God allowed me to reach in the 7 years there. I grew to love many of those kids like I hoped I would love my own children if I had had any. But one, Jenny, became extra special. She genuinely wanted to do right. She came from a home where no one in her home came to church, only her. Her mom and dad were divorced. Her mom did not come to church. She came on the buses, and as a teenager she started working on my route. And whenever she would learn anything about serving the Lord, I don't remember her ever saying, "Why do I have to do that? What's wrong with this?" That was not her attitude. She wanted to do right. She wanted not to have the life that her parents had. And when she was older, this was when she was 13 or 14, when she became my bus kid. When she was a little bit older and about ready to go to college, she said, I want my children to have a Christian home. I do not want my children to grow up like I grew up. I love my mom, and I'm thankful for all she did for me, but I want more for my kids. And she went to Bible college, and while she was there, she met and married Pastor Tommy's son. And so now, she introduced me to Jonathan as her spiritual mom, her bonus mom. This is my church mom. That's really what she said, I think, my church mom. And so that began the relationship there. And later, so they dated, they got married. And of course, Pastor Tommy has John's mom. She's in heaven now. But at that time, they were still married. And John told Jenny right away that was his plans. He wanted to serve God on the mission field. He was going to go back and work with his dad. And that was their plan all along. They married, finished school, went on deputation, and now they serve there. And when they were planning to have children, they asked me if I would be willing to go to Mexico and be their children's teacher. Would you come to Mexico and love our kids like you love Jenny and teach them? And so I did. And I do love I already loved their kids like they were my grandchildren because of my relationship with Jenny. So now she's also our daughter-in-law. So we have a double relationship there, and I love being a part of her kids' lives. That's an extra special blessing that God gave me, I believe, for my faithfulness to the bus ministry. The portrait that I'm attempting to paint with this story is that of faithfulness. Throughout this entire narrative is the thread of God's faithfulness. God is always faithful. He's been good to me throughout my story, and every step I've simply trusted and obeyed. I couldn't know all those years ago when I was her bus captain how God was going to put our lives together. There is a verse in the Bible that says God puts the desolate in home. He gives homes to the desolate, and I don't want to portray my life as desolate. That's not how I would think of it at all. But I was alone. I was not married the whole time I was bus captain and Sunday school teacher. Pastor Tommy is my first husband. I'm his second wife because Miss Brenda is in heaven. But all of this time that I worked with children in the classroom and on the bus routes, I was not married. So I think that allowed me to have more to give. Because I wasn't raising children of my own. I didn't have to go home and fix supper and do bedtime and all of those things. So I had more time to give to the children on the bus route. I influenced numerous young people throughout my many years in the bus ministry, and God gave me one to return tangible gratitude. God gave me one who wanted me to love and teach her children as I had loved and taught her. He gave me one who has made me feel appreciated. Of course, that isn't why we serve the Lord, but that's an extra blessing that I believe God gave me back. every good gift and wonderful blessing that I am experiencing in this stage of my life is a direct result of my faithfulness to God's plan, specifically a service in the bus ministry, in the Sunday school class. Whatever ministry God has given you, He will bless you for faithfulness to it. It's important to me that those who hear this testimony know that I wrote this next part before I knew I was going to marry Jenny's father-in-law. Okay, I wrote this testimony out while I was living in Mexico about how God had put our lives together. And then later, I don't know, Pastor Tommy might tell the story one night when he preaches. Because obviously the whole time I was there teaching, and I was like the kid's other grandma. And I was friends with Miss Brenda. I taught in the school, attended the church. And one day, several months after Miss Brenda went to heaven, we just saw each other differently. For him first. I didn't even realize that he was trying to date me. I just thought he was being nice. And so he told me, I've been trying to date you for actually I've been dating you for 2 weeks. You're not paying attention. That's what he said. I'm like, that's a whole other story though. It's different. Right. So I think he might tell it. I'm not sure. That's not a promise, but sometimes he does tell it in the evening service. So I believe that I have enjoyed so many blessings from loving John and Jenny and their children from the moment I decided to move to Mexico. I would not change one decision. I would not trade one valley. I would not skip one season of heartache or discouragement. Brother Sisson said that last night, that sometimes people start serving God and then they get discouraged and they quit. Okay, well, you understand that my husband, Pastor Tommy, his parents moved to Mexico when he was 14. So really, he's been a missionary since he was 14 because he did a lot to help them in their ministry. Then he went to Bible college and met Miss Brenda, and then they served there. He's been preaching for over 50 years. Well, you understand, he got discouraged too. He gets discouraged. I get discouraged. The same thing happens to all of us. The difference is, where are your eyes? Are you looking at Jesus, or are you looking at the people who discourage you? So, if I could say one thing to encourage you today, it would be, keep trusting God. We serve an all-knowing, all-wise, all for your good God. There were many times, as I'm sure you have also faced, when my path seemed dark. Sometimes what I was doing seemed pointless. There were kids on my bus that they quit coming. You know, I don't know if you experienced this so much here. I think it's probably worldwide. Kids come when they're little and they like getting suckers and popsicles and they like sitting on your lap and hearing Bible stories, but then they become a teenager and they're too cool for church. Or their friends convince them that church is for, yes, of course you liked it when you're little, it's for babies. Church is for babies and old ladies. That's what they tell. I don't think that, but that's what their friends at the public school tell them, in the States anyway. So, sometimes it seemed pointless because I would put so much into them and then they would just quit. But God had only my good in mind, and theirs too. He has a plan for those kids, which is part of my lesson in a minute. He used me to bring good to others, and He has brought so much to me because of my faithfulness to Him. There's no way to compare the blessings God has in store for us to comfort. There's no way to compare the blessings God has in store for us to the comforts or relationships that He asks us to yield to Him. God is good, God is faithful, and keep trusting and obeying. And that's really my introduction. I have the privilege, I hope you'll come back tomorrow and Friday, because I have the privilege of teaching both times. So I wanted to start with that, with my testimony, and then I have a brief devotion. But the rest of the week, the lessons that I prayed about and that God gave me, because this is kind of a mixed group from teenagers to grandmas, and there's married people and unmarried. So I have one lesson for this week. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do tomorrow and which one Friday. I'm still praying about it. But one is on serving God alone, because that is what I did for a long time. I was 52 when Pastor Tommy and I got married. He was 72, but this is my first marriage. So all of my adult life until I was 52, I taught Sunday school and worked on the bus route. I taught Christian school, served in the church faithfully, went soul winning. And so I have something to say about that to the young people. If there's young ladies here that are maybe in their 30s or 40s or 50s, and maybe you're there but you're widowed. So you're alone now, even though you weren't. And I think that will speak to you, and it will help you at any time. And then the other one is a lesson to parents. What I would tell the parents of the kids that I helped raise if I thought they were listening. So if you'll listen, I think I can give you some principles, not just with your own children, but with Sunday school kids and bus route kids, and of course your own children and your own grandchildren. It's just principles of how to have an influence, which a lot of that is in my book that Pastor Tommy talked about, Where's the Next Jenny? What are we doing to reach somebody who will decide that they want something different? I want something different. I distinctly remember that conversation when Jenny said that. I want my children to have a different home than I had. And they do. They know that there's a security in knowing that you're loved and that you're wanted and that your mom and your dad both want you and that they both want each other. That's a great gift to give to your children. That's not my lesson, though. Okay, I know what time it is. I have my phone here. I think I'm going to stop at 8:55, which will give plenty of time for the lady who's teaching at 9. So if you'll turn to 1 Corinthians 13, that's my testimony. Thank you for listening. I hope it blesses you and encourages your testimony of faithfulness to the Lord. But my devotional this morning is from 1 Corinthians 13. You probably are already aware this is called the chapter on love. How to love God first and how to love people. I'm going to read a couple of verses and then talk about them. I'm having trouble keeping my Bible open. Okay. 1 Corinthians 13. Okay. And I ask you to keep your Bible open because I'm going to read some verses and talk about them, and then read some more verses and talk about them. So if you can just keep it open and read along as I go. 1 Corinthians 13. If you spend a lot of time with different people, you'll certainly have noticed that it's not easy to love everyone. While some people get connected easily, others are difficult to create a friendly relationship with. How can we then love each individual person? This would be impossible if we did not allow God to love them through us. Because God, in fact, does love every individual person. He has a plan for every individual person. Even those teenagers that quit coming to church when they're teenagers, God still has a plan for them. And it's important that they know that you're still here and that you're still faithful, because even if they don't call you when they're adults, they should know that they can. God loves each person with a perfect and selfless love. He created each one, has a plan for each one, and Christ died for each one of them. We must pray that God loves every person through us because He in truth loves them. We can be instruments of that love. When we try to see that difficult person as God sees them, when we look through God's eyes, we cannot help but love them. Every person who is hard to love, when they feel loved, they begin to respond differently. They may never respond correctly, but there's something about knowing that somebody cares about you. There's just something about that. Okay, verses 1 and 2. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity, I am become a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. I don't have to be an eloquent speaker to be effective. But if I don't communicate through love, my words are empty. They may touch your head, but not your heart. If I'm not doing it out of a motive to help you have a better relationship with the Lord. And as important as the study is, we must study the Bible. We can't have good influence over others apart from God and His Word. It's in vain if I don't care for the person that I'm giving it to. When we teach at Sunday school or in any way that we teach the Bible to others, our goal must be to help that person know more about God and have a better relationship with Him. More than teaching a lesson, we are teaching the person. Verse 3. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing. No matter how much we sacrifice or how busy we believe we are, if we're not motivated by love, everything is in vain. Jesus said, without me, you can do nothing. So it doesn't matter how many hours you visit or how many phone calls you make or if you're not doing it out of love. If you're not doing it out of a heart of love and service to the Lord, it's nothing. If we really love people, even when we feel pressured to the limit, we'll be kind. And this convicts me because I'm not always kind when someone cuts me off in traffic or tells me that I'm sorry you missed your flight, it's closed. It's not easy to be kind at that moment. Okay, but if I really have a heart of love, then I would be. So I'm saying what we should do, not necessarily what I always do. I'm teaching myself too. Just because I don't always do it doesn't mean it's not in the Bible. Okay, I know I don't always practice this, but I'm working on it. And when God gave me that in this lesson, it helps me more. Verses 4 and 5. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil. It's sad when we sometimes are in competition with other Christians. We're trying to prove that we're better or more popular or whatever it is that we think is important. We should not be in competition with each other. We should come together with the purpose of sharing the gospel with as many people as we possibly can. It's difficult for God to use a prideful heart. All of those verses were about real love is not proud of itself. It's proud, takes pride in what God can do. Okay, and verses 5 through the beginning of verse 7. Doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth, beareth all things, believeth all things. This convicts me too. Do I allow that irritating person to make me tense or to speak roughly? Just because someone else is irritating doesn't mean I have to be. I respond that way sometimes, but I shouldn't. I want to be what that person needs me to be. I'm sent to love every person no matter how he treats me. Sometimes, my husband and I travel a lot, so that means we go through TSA a lot. Do they call that here in the security at the airport? Is it called TSA? Well, the security at the airport, whatever it's called. We go through it a lot. And sometimes it's not fun. And when my husband can tell when I'm starting to get like, how many times are they going to pat me down? I do not have drugs. he'll say, I'm so glad we're not having as bad a day as they are. And that cheers me up, and it helps me to have a better perspective. Okay, so verse 7b, the end of verse 7. Believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. If I wish to be truly Christ-like, I will continue to hope and love, even when it seems impractical. And verse 8, charity never faileth. Whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. God's love cannot fail. If I allow Christ to love through me, then my words and actions will not fail to touch the heart of someone else, the life and the future. To the extent that I'm allowing God to do it through me, then I'm truly helping that person. Okay, and then verses 9 through 13. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know, even as also I am known. And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three, but the greatest of these is charity. Perhaps I'm not the most eloquent speaker. Perhaps I'll not have reached the highest academic level. But wherever I am in my life, I can allow Christ to love and influence others through me. I want to share with you quickly 6 necessary concepts that help us to have in our hearts the love that Christ has for each person. The first one is love. Learn 1 Corinthians 13. I mean, really learn it as part of your life. Pray 1 Corinthians 13, especially if there's someone in your life that's especially difficult to deal with or love. Maybe it's a kid in your class or on your route or your own child. Or maybe it could be another lady in the church. But pray 1 Corinthians 13 over them. Ask God to love them through you. And then live 1 Corinthians 13. And that's all of these are hard. None of them are easy. And there's never going to be a time that we say, oh, we've done that now, we can move on to something else. We will. I'm sorry about that. We will always be growing and working in that area until we get to heaven, because we can't love perfectly until we are completely like Christ. So we can always be working on that. Okay, when my phone fell, I lost my place. Hold on just a second. Here it is. I don't want to skip anything. Okay, that was one. Encouragement. Recognition of the accomplishments of others and complimenting the integrity of others. This world can be a very negative place. There are people who come to our churches emotionally crippled in their hearts. They're looking for something. Now I'm talking about the visitors. I'm not talking about your best friend who sits next to you, although we all have problems. But hopefully the longer we're in church and the longer we are studying our Bible and the longer we're being encouraged by our good Christian friends, the better we can be in these areas. But now I'm talking about the person who's visiting, or they've been coming for a couple of weeks. They came because they're looking for something that they didn't find outside of the church. That's why we came. I mean, I went to church when I was, my parents sent me on the bus, and then my whole family got involved, and I grew up in church. But the reason I stayed in church is because I found something that I didn't find anywhere else. And that's why you're there too, and you can help other people find it. Every person needs to understand how valuable we are to God. We need to see individuals as God sees them, and then we can learn to communicate that love and worth to that person. Consistency. That's another area that we can all work on. Consistency. Be where you are supposed to be. Do what you are supposed to do while you're there. Transparency. Be genuine. Be human. Use personal examples that reveal your own weaknesses. It doesn't make you look weak. It doesn't make us look weak to admit that we're struggling with something and we need prayer and help. That shows that you're willing to learn. You're strong enough to admit that you need help, and ask for help is not weakness. And we need to recognize that in other people. If someone comes to you and says, I'm struggling in this area, could you pray with me about that? When someone asks me, especially when we're traveling, I usually try to stop and pray with them right now. Sometimes I can't because it's 30 seconds before church is going to start, and they came over to my pew. But I do have a list on my phone when people ask me that, if I can, and I put their name and what they asked me to pray for and where we were. Because we do travel a lot. Like I'll put Dallas or Manila or wherever the person goes to church to help me remember when I'm praying for them. But be willing to reveal our own weaknesses and be willing to apologize when it's necessary. That's a big part of love. And not just expect the person to get over it. It helps. It helps me. If someone offends me, it helps me get over it if they acknowledge and apologize for it. So I think that if I offend someone and I know that I did, then I should apologize for it. And then compassion. If you were writing them down, I'll tell it to you. Love, encouragement, consistency, and compassion. Ask God in prayer to see others through His eyes. People want to know that we love them. And that is how they see the love of God. That's especially how children see it. That you think they are a person of value. We must seek to influence others by making connections with their hearts. We wish to give them the tools of the Scriptures that exceed in the mind and reach the heart. People need us to be what God designed us to be. They need to think, the people in the world need to realize that there's something different about us. We don't just dress differently or talk differently or look differently, but because we are different from the inside. Okay, I believe all of those things. I believe we ought to talk differently. I don't think Christians should use bad words. I think Christians should dress like Christians. I think when we come to church, we should look like we're coming to church. But it should come from the inside. From the inside. Because we are different. And people know that. When they get to know you, then they know. They know that you are different. And I have, according to my phone, I have 4 minutes. So I just want to again to encourage you about the rest of the week and to really listen. I think Mrs. Salazar will be here. She's one of my heroes. She's a great lady. And if you have a chance to hear what she has to say, I hope you really take advantage of that. And I can't imagine, who is the person who's next is here? Are you the next teacher? Will it offend you if I stop 4 minutes early? Okay, early. I'll give you a little more time. So, or if someone has a question, usually hardly anyone ever does, but I do have a few minutes, and if you do, I'll be happy to do my best to answer it. Okay, so thank you so much for your time and your attention.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Ashcraft, for that wonderful message. Personally, it struck directly sa puso ko yung message. It's about loving others. So, naalala ko lang yung nangyari kagabi sa amin, sa traffic. So, usually kasi traffic problems, no? Talagang sa kalsada, lalabas talaga yung attitude eh. But, yun nga, what makes us different? So, yun, meron tayong Jesus sa ating puso. So, the problem is, sige, share ko na rin po sa inyo, is that, yung emotions natin, yan, hindi natin makontrol. So, ang nangyari kagabi is that meron tricycle driver na nagsasalita siya against us because of the traffic. So, the problem is nakapagsalita din ako ba? So, yun yung controllable, that side, that part of us. So, the message really helps me again and I am reminded that yon we are different. So yung love na yon, doon nila makikita kung ang nangyari is yung kabaliktaran na hindi ako nagsalita. Unang-una yung Holy Spirit, di ba? Matutuwa siya and we will feel better. Kasi after that, hindi naman po maganda yung pakiramdam when you fight back, di ba? As Christians, the Holy Spirit is telling us na it's not the right thing. So, hindi ko po alam kung ano yung mga experiences nyo individually right after the conference last night or this morning, if meron kayong mga bad days or experience with others. Ayan. So, we are reminded that Christ should be seen sa ating mga buhay. So, yung Christ-likeness. So, it's difficult nga sabi, di ba, ni Mrs. Ashcraft, yung learn, pray, and live. So, mahirap po lahat talaga. Yung live talaga yung pinaka-mahirap. So, yung application, di ba po, ng wisdom na natututunan natin from the Lord. And we are thankful that meron mga ganitong klaseng events and conference so that nadadagdagan po tayo talaga ng wisdom na galing sa Panginoon. And we are so blessed na nandito po tayo lahat ngayon. Tulad nga ng sinabi ni Mrs. Ashcraft, no, yung experiences niya. Hindi ko po alam dito kasi I myself am single too. So, hindi ko po alam kung meron po dito mga 30s, 40s plus still singles. Ayun, so hindi pa po too late para sa atin. Maybe God is still planning something or baka sabi nga po nung ating next speaker, baka hindi tayo nagiging watchful. So maybe we can listen, baka mamaya meron pong mga tips and tricks si ating po next speaker. So hindi ko na po patatagalin, so 8:55 na po. I will be introducing our next speaker po. Actually, she is really close po sa heart po ng Christ Baptist Church. Wait lang pa. So, siya po ay beloved wife ni Pastor Avelino Cuenza na nasa likod. Very supportive po. Ayan. Pastor of Bayanihan Bible Baptist Church and Mission. So, she got saved as a teenager. So, marami po dito mga teenagers. Yes, we are so blessed po. And then finished high school and entered Bible school and started serving in various ministries like Good News classes, Bible studies, soul winning visitation. Now, she is faithfully serving as a pastor's wife for 36 years. Wow! Halos kaedad ko to! She is also the principal of the Lord's Heritage Christian Academy and a teacher at Brigido Porto Bible Baptist Seminary where she handles personality development and communication subjects. Wow. Salamat natin to. So, Mrs. Cuenza is blessed with 2 sons, Pastor June Cuenza, 3 sons ba? 2 sons. Pastor June Cuenza, Juan Philip Cuenza, then 2 beautiful grandchildren, Mikael and Abel. Sorry po if wala po dito sa list. Ayan, so hindi na po natin patagalin. Welcome po natin lahat ang ating next speaker, si Mrs. Cuenza.
Ayan. Tawagin natin ang security guard. Guard! Palutasin yung isang lalaki dyan. Ayan, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. The topic or the theme for this event is be watchful and strengthen the things which remain. Si Mrs. Ascroft kanina, for 2 weeks, Pastor Tommy is dating her, and Mrs. Ascroft is not without knowledge. So, kasi hindi siya watchful. Kaya sabi ko sa kanya, sis, baka naman nakalampas kasi hindi ka watchful. Ayan. But every one of us is very aware, right, of the viral now in Facebook, the death of Eman Atienza. But if you will review the posts, di ba, ni Miss Atienza, of course, talagang broken din yung puso ko kasi di ba pag nanay ka na. Pero if you will look at the previous mga posts, makikita mo na maraming pauna na siyang sinasabi na she will commit suicide. Talaga nandun na lahat ng mga sintomas. Now, we're not blaming anyone kasi talagang everyone is really busy. Distracted talaga tayo. Even I think the parents, they're not bad parents. It just happened na hindi talaga tayong lahat, I myself, hindi watchful. But not watchful. Pero paano kaya kung tayong lahat ay mapagbantay personally sa ating buhay? Huwag po natin bantayan yung buhay ng iba. It will not help. Believe me, it will not help because you will start comparing yourself to others. Ang buhok ko, hindi sin ganda ng buhok niya. Ang ilong ko, hindi sin tangos ng ilong niya. Ay, bakit ako ganito siya ganun? So do not ever try to watch others' life, then you forgot concentrating and focusing on yourself na pwede mong itanong, Lord, paano pa ako higit na magiging maayos sa iyong harapan? Napakasarap pong mabuhay ng maligaya. Ay, no. Bagaman we're still in a broken world, kasi di ba ang sinasabi natin, daming problema, daming ganyan. Talaga pong ganon because we're living in a broken world. And no one is exempted that because you're serving the Lord, you're excused. Hindi ka makakasakit, hindi ka puputulan ng kanoreko, ng meralco, hindi ka mawawalan ng ilong, hindi ka kakain ng tuyo. Wala pong ganong pangako ang Biblia. Na because you're saved and you're serving the Lord and you're giving your tithe, that you will be excused from any hardships and difficulties. Ang promise ng Panginoon, nandyan siya. At depende po, I like the song Trust and Obey. Depende po, ang pagganda ng buhay ng Kristiyano, it's done already. Perfect na po yung kwento at plano ng Diyos sa atin. What's missing is our part, yung atin pong bahagi. Yung gaano ang yung pagsunod sa Panginoon. Sabi ko nga po, this Bible, ito po yung nagkakaroon ng buhay. Okay? The promises of God will become alive and powerful. Depende po sa puso ng taong naniniwala at kung paano yung panghahawakan ng salita ng Diyos. Kaya, be watchful. Naisip niyo po ba na we're so blessed this morning? My goodness. Kakain ka, masarap ang pagkain, nakaupo ka sa aircon, i-encourage ka, may magpe-pray. Yung mga speaker bago tumayo, talagang nananalangin. Ang panalangin niya, Diyos ko, gamitin mo po ako na nanalamang buhay na mahipo. Someone's life will be touched and there will be change after this event. Diba? Ilang milyon, I think milyon ang ginamit dito. Diba? Milyong piso, sa totoo lang, anong pakinabang ng Christ? You ask yourself, ano ang pakinabang po ng host church na tayo'y ginanito? Talagang ginanito eh. Kaya po kami watchful. Nagkukwenta kami, grabing pakinabang ito. Atan tayo! Kaya nga po, si Pastor Abel, ganyan lang kayo. Lahat na yung excess, sasagutin na namin kasi ganun ka-decisive yung aming pastor na talagang ma-avail po kami. Kasi watchful, nagkukwenta kami. Kayo po ba nagkukwenta na we're blessed? Kaya pag upo po ninyo diyan, sana po, hindi lang ito one of the conferences or one of the too many events that you've attended and then after that, nothing. Walang nangyayari po. Mula po nung ako'y maging Kristiyano, I got saved limot ko na pati 86. Buwan pa lang po, nung mag-preach yung pastor ko, si Pastor Eddie Porto, feeling ko sa akin lang siya nag-preach, magsuko kayo ng buhay sa Panginoon. Pagdating nyo sa langit, ang hahanapin ng Panginoon ay hindi mga diploma, kundi ilang kaluluwa na dala nyo sa Panginoon. Sabi ko, pambira, talagang tinatali ako ng pastor ko, dinadali ako nito Sabi ko, para matahimik to, forward ako. Pero ganun po pala yun, feeling mo pinapatamaan ka. Pero yun din naman pala naiisip ng iba. But that time, I thought it was for me. So, to make the long story short, I surrendered my life. At sabi ko sa Panginoon, Panginoon ha, sige, susundin kita, Panginoon ha. Kasi natutunan ko po when I became a Christian that the Word of God is very powerful. Kasi nung ako po'y maligtas po ako. Ako kasi palamura, pag sinabi ng nanay ko, demonyo kang bata ka, sabi ko sa nanay ko, step backward lang ako. Demonyo ka rin. Nanay mo ka kasi baka abutin ka ng sampal. Ganun po yun. Ay, tinuruan ng mga kabataan eh. Pero ganun po talaga. Pero every New Year, I'm praying, Lord, you change my mouth. Kasi kahit unbeliever ako, may New Year's resolution ako, I want to be changed. Kaya hindi ko alam kung paano magbago. Kumakanta kami, nagmamano kami sa pari, umahali kami sa kamay ng pari, yung may sing-sing. Tapos 5 kami magkakapatid na babae, member kami ng choir ng ano. Kami po yung may prosesyon, Ave, Ave, Ave Maria. Talagang kami po yung mahaba. Di ba kami? Kaya talagang malaki kaming pwersa. Tapos ang nanay ko, siya yung president ng Catholic Women's League. So ganun kami ka-dedicated. But no change. We're religious. At pag-araw po ng Miyerkules, lahat kami lagi nakaluhod talaga dun sa santo. Yung toring garing, maawa ka sa amin, bahay na ginto, maawa ka sa amin. Oo, yun. Ayun, lahat po yan. Oo. Tapos kukutin kami nanay ko, sumakot kayo. Bahay ng amin. Ganun yun eh. Ganun yung eksena, po. Kristiyano na ako noon. Nag-pray ako, sabi ko, Panginoon, bawal naman pong itapon yun kasi hindi po yun akin. Pero Panginoon, talagang mali po yun. Kaya talagang alam ko, makapangyarihan ng Diyos eh. Alam niyo yung ginawa ng Panginoon? Parang maubos tayo sa kwentuhan. Hindi tayo makapunta sa lesson. Ano yung ginawa ng Panginoon? Nagpadala ng lumilipad na mataas na yung manok, mataas ang lipad. Pagdaan yung gano'n, talagang bagsak. Dinampot ng nanay ko, kumuha siya ng barbecue stick, nilagyan niya ng yung ulo kasi naputol, di gumaganyan. Kaya lang, nahuhulog. So, ganun po yung mga story ng aming buhay na talaga nakita ko, ang Panginoon ay buhay. Ngayon, balik tayo sa kaligtasan ko, while I am sure that I am saved, kasi ako problema ko, bunga nga akong palamuray, pag sabi ng nanay ko, talagang demonyo kang bata ka, sabi ko, demonyo ka rin. Hindi man makahabol ako, malayo ako, tsaka talagang backward ka kasi abutin ka ng sampal ng nanay eh. Ngayon, nakita ko sa 2 Corinthians 5:17, if anyone be in Christ, he is a new creature. Nabasa ko yun kasi na-curious ako eh. Sabi ng pastor na nag-share sa akin, ligtas daw ako, pero walang kulog, walang kidlat, walang hangin. Wala naman nangyari sa akin. Bagamat pagkatapos ng prayer, merong kagaanan akong naranasan. Magaan. Kaya lang, I need proof that I'm saved. Nabasa ko 2 Corinthians 5:17. Panginoon, sige daw, kung talagang ligtas ako, baguhin mo nga ako. Itong nguso ko. Kasi sa totoo ko, dati magandang nguso ko, kasi sampal po ng nanay ko, medyo umakal. Totoo po yan. Talagang nilagyan pa yun ng siling. Nilagyan pa yun ng siling. Na-boost lang ang confidence ko, kasi nung patatingin ako ng Panginoon sa Amerika, at sabi ng mga Amerikana, hey, your lips, is that inflatable? This is because of my mother. Of course, hindi ko na makwento kasi mahirap ng English. Pero ganun po yung nangyari. So, nung mag-pray po ako, wala namang kulog, kidlat. Wala namang hangin. Tulog na ako. Eto na naman ang nanay ko. Kasi ang nanay ko po kasi maingay, magulo. Pero ngayon hindi na kasi nasave din po siya. So, pag-gising sa umaga, kayong mga bata kayo, tanghali na, bumangon na kayo, magsisipasok pa kayo, bigyan na kayo ng tubig, maglinis na kayo ng paniliit, mga bagulong, yung paniliit pa kayo sana, pinisil ko lang inyong ilong. Ayun na nga, matay na. Ganun yung aking nanay. Dati, nung hindi pa save. So, ang tendency ko, lumaban. Pagbangon ko ganon, wala nang lumalabas na masamang salita. Ayaw na. Ayaw na. Kasi dapat sasabihin ko, Nay, ingay-ingay mo na naman. Parang ganun na tendency ko kayo. Naman, ingay na naman. Wala na. At doon po talaga, pag nagagalit ang nanay ko, napapangiti na lang ako. Parang naunawaan ko siya na kasi matigas pala talaga ulo namin. So, from there, na-realize ko talagang the Word of God is very powerful. And until now, yun po talagang aking pinangahawakan. Kala ko sa inyo po, para bang wala lang. Katulad na yung conference, wala lang. Depende po kasi yan eh. Ang aklat na ito, may buhay o walang buhay, depende sa tao. Kung may nananampalataya o walang pananampalataya. Pero ang isa pong alam ko talaga, hindi ito babalik na walang kabuluhan. Ano po? Kaya po, yung salitang watchful is a very powerful word. Pwede pong ibahin nito ang direksyon ng iyong buhay. It can change your destiny. Sabi ko nga po, listen to this is very important. Totoong totoo. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, kung di pa kukunin ng Diyos, alam ko na kung anong future ko. Napipicture ko yung sarili ko na nakaupo. Pwede ko mapicture ang sarili ko, anong itsura ko, kung anong klaseng matanda ko. Pwede po yan Kung ako ba'y masungit, tatakbuhan ng tao, ayaw sa akin ng tao. Kasi depende po yan sa desisyon mo sa ngayon. Pwede nyo pong i-predict kung mamamatay kayo sa high blood. Sure yan, kasi lahat mamamatay. Yung uri lang na kamatayan, hindi natin alam. Sabi ni Lord, parang feeling ko, wala ko sa Bible na, pero parang feeling ko, anak, depende yan sa choice mo. Sige, kumain ng maaalat. Ano po, what you saw, you will reap. Kaya ngayon, pwede na kayong mamili, mag-isip. Pero pwede nyo na-predict anong uri ng kamatayan meron kayo. Pero ako, ang prayer ko, yan, prayer nyo naman, Lord, yung cute lang. Yung ba? Yan. Tapos hindi ka nakagising, tapos nakangiti ka. Pwede namang mamatay ka ng hila ang paa. Tiwi. Kasi depende sa inyong desisyon ngayon. Kaya ako po nag-decide. Ang akin pong asawa, pag tinatrato ko ngayon, inaalagaan ko siya, na parang na-stroke na. Oh, may wisdom dyan. Oh, mga nanay. Ilan po ang mga nanay dito na may mga asawa? Yan. Pag po kayong mag-aalaga ng asawa, huwag nyo hintayin ma-stroke. Tapos ang bait-bait nyo. Kahit ano, gagayatin nyo. Kahit ano, pipigain nyo. Kahit ano, hahanapin nyo, paiinom nyo. I-advance nyo. Pag na-advance nyo, una, malinis konsensya ni Mrs. Pangalawa, posibleng hindi siya mamatay sa stroke. Nakita niyo po yung sense? Nakita niyo po? Pumapasok po yung sa salitang watchful. Be watchful. Be watchful. Anong trato mo sa iyong manugang? Paano ka tinatrato na yung manugang? Ng mga tao sa paligid, bakit wala ka naman ginagawa? Lagi silang galit sa'yo. Feeling mo lang yun. Pero baka talagang may mali. Kaya lang, hindi ka kasi watchful. Kaya this word is very powerful. Ang another term ko niyan, awareness. You should have a very strong awareness para sa iyong buhay, personal. Ano ba, lagi na lang kayong nagbabangil-ngilang mag-asawa, pwede namang sweet. Pwede namang mahalang-mahalan. Parang normal na sa inyo nagsusumbatan, parang normal na sa inyo nag-aaway, pwede namang baguhin. Ang yung mga anak, pinapalaki nyo na ibinibigay nyo lahat-lahat. Pwede nyo masabi, in the end, kung anong uling klaseng mga anak sila. Mahalaga po ang maging watchful. Hindi po natin kinakailangan maging napaka-intellectual, intelligente, para maunawaan po how life works. Hindi po kinakailangan. Dito po, taas ang kamay ng mga full-time workers sa dati. Taas ang kamay. Ayan. Ilan yung nandoon nakatira sa loob ng bahay? Ayun, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Siguro mga 6 pong babae yan. Dahil masyadong watchful, kami po kasi ay may devotion na for 2 years na consistently, I have to arrange the lesson every day. Every day I have to arrange the lesson. At watchful ako, nasabi ko, pambihira. Naka-arrange na nga ang mga lesson, talagang konti pa rin nagpa-participate. Ngayon, may pinauso ako kasi watchful ako Sabi ko, ako hindi mag-post ng devotion, magmumulta ng 20 pesos. Ay, mga gumagawa sila ng devotion. Sabi ko talaga, mga pampera-pera lang talaga. At ang gagastos ng pera, yun na mag-milk tea. O yun na mag-enjoy nung. So, talaga inobliga ko po sila. Kasi watchful ako na ang hirap pong ilaban ng Kristiyanong buhay. Napakahirap po. Ang kasalanan po ay from the very start nandun na. Kaya lang ngayon sa panahon natin mas mahirap ang kasalanan. Alam niyo kung bakit? Kasi normalized. Normal ang may Facebook, normal ang nag-YouTube, normal yung meron kang cellphone, and actually pag wala kang cellphone parang hindi ka normal. Kaya ang hirap po maging Kristiyano ngayon, kasi ang mismong kalaban mo, mismong nasa maliit lang na gadget. Now, let's look at the life of a woman who drifted away. Hindi siya ganun ka-watchful. Hindi po siya ganun ka-watchful, kaya nakaranas po siya ng mga kapaitan sa kanyang buhay. Mamamit ako si Miss Emily, pero mas malala, ako na nanabog ang lesson ko. Ayan. Ayan. Tayo po muna ay manalangin. Panginoon, kami po ay maligaya. Nasa oras na ito, hindi po kami nandito dahil po sa kung kanino pa man. Kundi nais po namin ikaw ay amin pong makatagpo. We just want to honor you, Lord, to praise you, Lord, sapagkat kung bakit po kami buhay, dahil sa iyong Panginoon. Kung bakit po kami may tsansa na magkaroon ng magandang ending, ang kwento ng aming mga buhay, dahil po ito, Panginoon, sa iyo. Salamat po sapagkat bukas ang pagkakataon sa amin. Salamat po, Panginoon, sa mga tunguri ng pagtitipo na sadya pong intentional na ginawa, ginastusan, may mga nagsakripisyong kapatiran, may mga naglaan ng buhay, panahon at pera, Panginoon, para po kaming mga anak mo ay makinabang. Lord, I pray, huwag po nawa namin itong pagwalang bahala, kundi nakita po namin na mula po sa amin na makatuangin sa gawain ay makapag-impluensya po kami ng mga higit pang maraming mga kababaihan na magkakaroon po ng full awareness, mapagbantay sa aming po mga personal na buhay at dahil po dito yung tatagos, Panginoon, mismo sa aming mga pamilya at maging sa iba pong mananampalataya at higit sa lahat sa mga hindi po mananampalataya. Salamat po, Ama, sa oras ito. Pray, Lord, na ikaw po ang maglagay ng mga salita sa aking labi sapagkat po sa aking Panginoon, ano po baga naman ang aking kaya? Ako po'y naglaan ng pag-aaral, pero Panginoon, pag ito po'y nalimutan ko, wala naman po akong kayang sabihin. Kaya Panginoon, aking pag-asa ikaw, na ikaw po ang magsasaysay, Panginoon, na kahit nga po hindi ko alam, ipaalam mo po, Panginoon, para po kaming lahat ay matuto. Para po lahat kami, Panginoon, ay magkaroon po ng buhay, na kaalaman, bukas na kaisipan, bukas na puso. Nasadyang nilaan mo na nais mong ayusin ang aming buhay, pero kami po ay kinakailangan mag-participate. Hakbangin ang nais mo po, Panginoon, namin hakbangin, sundan ang nais mo namin sundan, at gawin ang iyong pong kalooban sa aming buhay. Katawad po, at dalangin ko kung basagin mo, anumang uri ng kasalanan. Kasalanan po, Panginoon, ang pagwawalang bahala ng matigas na puso. Kasalanan iniingatan, Panginoon, namin na sadya po nagpapalayo sa pagitan po namin at sa iyo, Panginoon. Mapuri ka po nawa, maluwalhati ko po nawa, maging buhay yung salat at makapangyarihan sa aming kalagitnaan. Sa ngalan po ng Panginoong Jesus. Amen. Amen. Let's open our Bible in the book of Ruth, chapter 1. And let's read chapter 1, verses 1 to 6. Ruth, chapter 1. Pwede po bang basahin natin po ng sabay-sabay? Ready? Read. Now, louder po.
There was a famine in the land, a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah,
Again. Babasahin po natin siya with all power dahil po ito ay totoong salita ng Diyos. This is not kwento ni Cinderella or Snow White. This is a real story and maybe this is your own story. Ayan. Basahin po natin may buong paggalang, sigla at lakas. Ready? Verse 1, go. Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn in the country of Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons. And the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the name of his 2 sons Mahlon and Chilion, Ephrathites of Bethlehem, Judah, and they came into the country of Moab, and continued there. And Elimelech knew his husband died, and she was left, and her 2 sons. And they took them wives of the women of Moab, and the name of the one was Orpah, and the name of the other Ruth, and they dwelt there about 10 years. And Mahlon and Chilion died also, both of them, and the woman was left of her 2 sons and her husband. Then she arose with her daughters-in-law that she might return from the country of Moab, for she had heard in the country of Moab how that the Lord had visited his people in giving them bread. Now here's the story of an ordinary woman. Alam niyo po, nagkaroon po ng di magandang sitwasyon sa Bethlehem, Judah. Though Bethlehem, Judah is a house of bread. So ito yung isang lugar na sadyang nakadesenyo para sa buhay ng pamilyang ito. Pero hindi po dahil tayo ay nasa tamang lugar, ay di po tayo makakaranas ng mga magagandang bagay din. So katulad po sa lugar na yon, sila po ay dinalaw din ng kakulangan. So, ang tendency po, especially tayong mga nanay na bida-bida, ay laging gumawa ng decision. We're excited always to make a decision. Para gusto natin instant. Ano po? Kaya po ang ginawa nila, pumunta po sila sa MOA. Ano po? So, minsan, we cannot stay in a place, ano po, pero yung place na yun, sadyang nilaan sa atin ng Panginoon. Example, our church. Di po ba? Walang perfect church. Pero, ang maganda po, may perfectong Panginoon. Wala pong matured na Kristiyano. We are all maturing. We're all in the process of maturing. Sa langit lang po ang perfection. Pero ang tendency natin, naiinip tayo. At habang tayo po'y nandoon, hindi na tayo naiinip kasi marami pa rin tayong nakikitang tila mali. At ang sunod pong nangyayari sa atin pong pagkainip, sa imbes na tayo po ay makatulong para po makagawa ng solusyon, hindi po natin minsan alam is nagkukos na rin po tayo ng trouble. Alam niyo po ba na lahat po tayo ay may influence? Hindi po ako dahil ako ay naito sa inyong unahan, ay ako lamang po ang taong may influensya. Kung kayo po'y teacher, ang laki po ng influence nyo kahit po ang inyong mga estudyante ay kinder, grade 1, grade 2. O kahit po ito ay mga pre-K lamang. Sasabihin na isang lola, ano ba naman ang pakinabang ko? Hindi po. Ang inyong pong mga apo ay napakalaki po ng inyong impluensya. Yung inyong pong mga tao sa simbahan na mas younger po sa inyo, ay napakalaki po ng influence. Wala nga lamang name tag or hindi lang tayo nag-label na ang laki ng influence mo. At minsan napapakinggan yon, di ba pag tribute na, pag namamatay na, doon lumalabas yung napakaraming mga kwento. Kung paano ang ginawa ng isang tao sa buhay ng ibang tao. But here is Naomi. Ano po? So, nandun sila sa isang maling sitwasyon. Ang kanyang asawa ay nag-decide, hey ladies, ano po? Hindi dahil ang ating asawa ay leader ng tahanan, sila ay laging tama. Hello? Hindi sila laging tama. Sa amin po, kahit hindi laging tama, pero kanya ang final decision kung hindi adik ang asawa mo. At pag adik naman, teka, huwag kang sunod ng sunod. Pero pag pastor naman yan, marunong manalangin, ano po, pwede mong ibigay ang iyong opinion, suggestion, pero ang final decision po ay nanggagaling sa ama ng tahanan. Para po hindi magulo ang komplikado ang buhay, para chill ka lang. Pag sinabi na asawang, let's go, okay, let's go. Ano po, para hindi ka nakipagpunyagian kasi hindi natin trabaho doon. Minsan po, naiiwan natin mga kananayan ng ating trabaho kasi ginagawa natin yung trabaho ng ating leader. Tapos na-neglect natin yung trabaho na para sa atin. At ito ang ating speech. Pagod na ako sa buhay na ito. Bakit hindi mo ako maintindihan? Pagod na ako. Ano ba kailangan mo? Nagtanong ka ba? Diba? Ang gulo natin ano? Dadaing tayo, tapos pag nagtanong ating asawa, nagtatanong ka ba? Galit ka ba? Hindi! Tapos babagsak natin yung, pero hindi tayo galit. Ano? Tapos yung tatabihan ka, ay, relate ang asawa, Helen, relate ka, no? Medyo yung may mga igkas kang paganyan, yung hindi naman dumidikit sa'yo, pero iigkas ka ng paganyan, papansin ka talaga. Tapos pag hindi ka pinansin at harok, ang sama ng loob mo. Nung hindi ka pinatulan, ang sama ng loob. Ang komplikado ng babae, ang cute. Ang cute ng babae, komplikado. Kaya nga pag hindi ka lumalim sa Kristiyanong buhay, talagang maraming babae na kahit mga Kristiyano na, hindi nyo pa masaktuhan ang napakagandang disenyo ng Panginoon. Be watchful bilang nanay, ano po, bilang asawa, napakahalaga po. Ito naman si Naomi, sunod ng sunod. Sunod ng sunod sa kanyang asawa. Siguro, I think Naomi also is looking for a change. Alam mo, ganyan po tayo eh. May mga pangarap tayo, may mga ambisyon tayo. Gusto natin ng magandang bahay. Wala pong masama sa magandang bahay. Gusto natin ng sasakyan, wala pong masama sa magandang sasakyan. Gusto natin ng maayos sa pagkain, sa pagkainan, wala pong masama sa lahat ng yan. Pero wag po niyong ipagpapalit na because of the desires for good things become God's rival. Na dahil sa pagnanais natin ng mga magaganda na nakikita ng ating mga mata at nakikita natin na nasa sa iba na during this time ay wala pa sa'yo, nagiging ka-rival na siya ng Panginoon. At yun nga po, napunta sila sa lugar ng Moab. Ayan, napunta na po sila sa lugar ng Moab. When you leave the place of bread, you leave the source of life. Ano po? Bethlehem means house of bread. It was dry for a season, but still where God's presence was. Hindi po dahil kayo po ay nasa sitwasyon na parang mahirap. Ano po, may mga prinsipyo kayo na hindi nyo pagkaintindihan sa loob ng pamilya, relasyong mag-asawa. Maski sa church po, nagkakaroon ng konting mga problema. Ano po, parang dry. Parang hindi na kayo masaya. Feeling ko, hindi na ako masaya yung ating mga speech. Feeling ko talaga sis, hindi na ako masaya. Hey, ang buhay po hindi nakabase sa feeling. Ang buhay po ay nakabase sa katotohanan. Because your feeling most of the time is contrary to the truth. Kaya nga po ang sabi ng Bible, ano sabi ng Bible? Tungkol sa puso. The heart is deceitful above all. Kung meron ka pong hindi unang pagtitiwalaan, puso mo, yung feeling mo. Kaya nga po, maski sa pag-ibig sa asawa, ay, yun ang asawa dito, mahal niyo pa ba asawa niyo? Mahal niyo pa ba? Pagtingin niyo pa ba sa inyong asawa? The same love pa rin. Nakikiulat pa ba kayo sa asawa niyo? Alam niyo po, may sikreto dyan. Brainwashing lang yan. Na-brainwash niyo ng sarili niyo. Pagtingin niyo, ang cute-cute talaga ng asawa ko. Ay, love na love ko pa rin talaga asawa ko. Because love is not a feeling. Love is a decision. Love is a decision. Except, huwag ka excited. Pag-addict, huwag na, ibahin nyo na ang rule ha. Sabi ni Sister Mel, dapat daw love is a decision. Eh, teka, binubugbog ka na, decision ka pa dyan. Oh, ibang usapan yan ha. Generally, ang sinasabi ko dito, hindi addict ang asawa. Matino ang asawa, Kristiyano ang asawa. Sumusunod ang asawa sa kalooban ng Panginoon. Pag wala doon, usap tayo. Ibang rule ang a-apply natin dyan, ha? Huwag yung sasabihin nyo, eh sis, alam mo, kalooban to ng Panginoon. Alam nyo, hindi po kalooban ng Diyos yan. Sasabihin ko sa inyo. Ano po? So, when you leave the place of bread, you leave the source of life. Hindi po dahil sa minsan hindi mo gusto ang nangyayari, iiwan mo. Even in a relationship. Kasal ka, okay? Hindi naman addict. Okay? You stay. You stay. Because when you leave the place of bread, you leave the source of life. Number 2, what you call, doon po ang plano po ni Naomi, sa verse 2 po, is to sojourn. Is mag-sojourn lang po. Ibig sabihin po, hindi po talaga yon magiging kanilang permanent place. Wala silang intensyon. Siguro paano lang just a visit, just to look at the area, just to go around, test the waters. Test lang nila. Kaya lang po ang nangyari, inabot po sila doon ng 10 taon. In the land of Moab. What you call temporary, the enemy turns into permanent. Naomi's family meant to stay for a while, but a while turned into 10 years. Di ba minsan, may ministry ka. Ilan po ito ang Sunday school teacher, taas ang kamay. Sunday school teacher. Ayan. Walang sweldo, di ba na? Kayo pa ang gumagastos. Tama? Nagbibigay ng candies? Ilan na po dito ang nasa soul winning ministry. Soul winning ministry, nag-aakay kayo ng kaluluwa sa Panginoon. Actually, minsan ayaw nyo na, pinipilit na lang kayo ni pastor. Pinipilit na lang. Ano po? Ilan po dito ang choir members? Choir members, taas po ang kamay. Yan. Ayan. Ulit-ulit na lang po ginagawa. Ano, minsan nakakapagod na, umamin na kayo, tayo-tayo lang naman. Okay lang po yan kay Lord. Kasi nga tayo umamin, alam niyo naman yan. Ano po? Di ba nakakapagod na po? Nakakaumay na ano. Tapos yung walang kamanayang pagbibigay. Yung pledge ng pledge. Ano po? Tapos ilan po yung si pastor magpapapledge? O diba? Tapos nagbibigay tayo. Ilan po yung nakaranas nun? Ayan. Lahat. Ano po nakaranas nun? Ano po? Minsan po, sabi natin, hinto na muna ako. Iyoko na muna. Magbabakasyon sa choir, isang linggo, ayaw na muna. Tapos yung isang linggo, nagiging 2 weeks na, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Yung dating excitement niya sa pagtuturo ng bata, di ba? Yung excitement niya sa pagtuturo ng bata, wala na. Wala na yan. Iba na ang excitement niya. Excited na siya sa school, gumawa ng project, and in fact, baka meron pa ditong pinagpapalit ang araw ng linggo. Diba? At nasa kanyang paaralan, iniiwan ang kanyang simbahan, iniiwan ang kanyang Panginoon. Alam niyo po ba, nawala na kasi yung pagiging watchful. Ang tinatawag po niyang drifting away. Alam niyo po ba na lahat ng danger, yung mga nalulunod, hindi po nila alam yan, masaya pa yan, masaya. Kasi hindi nila alam, maya-maya pala nasa malayo na. Kaya nga po kahit sa kalsada, di ba, ang dami pong mga warning signs. Kasi minsan kahit po sa driving, masyadong kampante. Tapos yung pala, nahit ka na ng accident. Nahit ka na ng accident. Why? Kasi ganun din po ang ginagawa sa atin ng kaaway. Yung bang namamahinga ka. At minsan naiinggit tayo sa mga walang ginagawa. Pero nung una, talaga nag-aapoy ang ating puso. Sa pag-awit, sa Panginoon, sa pag-prepare ng lesson. Ako rin po. Ayoko na rin magturo. Kung mantakin mo, 36 years na ako sa ministry, lahat ng kwento ng buhay, alam ko na. Pag sasabihin ni Pastor, Mama, hali kasali ka dito. Sabi ko, spare me. Kasi parang, ang kwento ko ng buhay, walang kakaiba. Nagbabago lang ang tauhan. Ulitin ko po, walang bago sa silong ng langit. Ang kasalanan ay kasalanan. Ulit-ulit lang po yan. Nag-iiba lang po ng mga tauhan. Ang talagang tuwang-tuwa lang ako pag yung tauhan hindi nagbabago. Yung after 10 years. Si kapatid dun pa rin ang problema. Minsan nangingiti na lang ako. Sabi ko talagang may masteral degree na to sa ganong sitwasyon. Pero alam niyo po, walang bago. Kaya ako po siguro yung pastor's wife na as much as possible, ayaw kong ma-involve, makinig pa na napakaraming kwento. Bagamat siyempre kailangan minsan, ano po. Pero minsan nga dahil napapagod ka na rin. Ito isang tip. Wala sa lesson ko baka lumagpas. Noon pag ako'y napapagod, ang aking pinagbubuntulan ng aking asawa. Bakit? Pag may time ka sa member, sa akin wala. Pag ako magsasabi sa'yo napapagod ka, pag member, hindi ka napapagod. Talagang linyada. Ay, wala ang mga pastors like dito. Sana nandito ang mga pastors like, bubuko ko sila. Bubuko ko sila eh. Diba? Opo, mga ganyan ang mga linyada ko. Ano po, tungkol sa ministry. Nung kahit paano po ako yung lumago. At kayo din po. Ano po, minsan yung ating pastor, pag napapagod tayo, si pastor kasi, bigay pa ng bigay sa akin, si pastor kasi, in-appoint na naman ako, lagi na ako naghuhugas ng pinggan, lagi ako namamalengke, tas kulang naman ng budget. Alam niyo po ba? Marami ako, miracle worker po mga pastor's wife, yung mamimili ka pero wala kang dalang pera. Nako! Naipasa ko rin sa iyo, Helen. Helen, yung taas ng kamay, yan. Naipasa ko na yon yung mga gano'n. Miracle worker na rin po yung mga yan. Sis, mamili ka, magpapakain tayo. Magpapakain, 50. O ito, 2,000. Miracle worker. O, ganyan po ang kwento ng simbahan. Ano po? Pero ito po isa kong natutunan. Huwag ang inyong pag-asa ay sa inyong pastor. Ang aking pag-asa ay hindi sa aking asawa. Alam niyo po ba ang description ng Panginoon sa asawang lalaki? Weak vessel. Because I am the weaker vessel. Di ba sa degree of comparison, sa adjective, English teacher, weak, weaker, weakest. So, sinong weak? Lalaki. Sinong weaker? Babae. O, di weak pa rin sila. Kaya lang, exactly. Kaya lang, ang ginagawa natin, inaasahan natin ang ating mga asawa. Binubuntong natin sa kanila. Nalimutan natin ang talata ng salita ng Diyos. do not put confidence in men. Tao ang ating asawa. Tao ang ating mga pastor. Kaya lahat po tayo talaga, ang ating pag-asa lahat ay sa Panginoon. Yung mga pastor natin, naglakas-lakasan lang yan, maniwala kayo, mga kapatid, magpapatayo tayo dito ng building sa ilalim, sabi ni Pastor Conway. Itong 20-story pailalim. Matindi ano, pangarap ni Pastor Conway. Alam niyo po, naglalakas-lakasan naman yan, pero sa totoo lang, ka ng pag-asa din sa Panginoon. Sa Panginoon po. Kaya po nagkakaroon ng problema sa loob ng tahanan kasi pag ang inyong pag-asa ay sa inyong asawang lalaki, minsan nga po masablay pa sila sa atin. Nagkataon nga lang na sila ang nilagay ng Diyos na hindi yan. But it does not mean that they're better than us. It just happened that the Lord put them in position, in such position. Ako po pa nag-i-English na medyo lumalalim na. Joke lang po, ayan. Kaya alam niyo po, do not put confidence in man. Wag na wag po kayo maglalagay ng tiwala sa tao. Ang akin pong pag-asa ay wala sa aking asawa. Ino-honor ko po siya as my leader, as my husband, ano po, ang final decision sa kanya. Pero hindi po siya ang paghuhugutan ng aking lakas sapagkat kapwa kami mahina. Kaya pag natutunan niyo po yan, wala ng asawa na laging sisisihin ang kanyang asawang lalaki. Bago sasabihin mo, ako ang helpmeet sa Genesis 2:18. Ako'y helpmeet. Ibig sabihin, kailangan ito ng katuan kasi talagang mahina din talaga to. Ay, kailangan ng katuan din. Pero huwag kayo magte-take over. Katuan ka lang. Listen, huwag kayong magte-take over. Sinisira nyo ang plano ng Panginoon. Doon ka papasukan ng kalungkutan kasi hindi mo papel ang manguna. Ang papel mo ay sumuporta sa pangunguna. Malinaw po ba yan? Yes na yes naman kayo. Pag actual na, di naman yan totoo eh. Sasabihin nyo, Mister, ang bagal-bagal mo naman. Ako na nga. Watch, honey. Look at me. I'll do it. Oh, kayo naman. Ayan, yes kayo na, yes. Pero sa totoo lang po, pag binago nyo ang disenyo ng Diyos, makakaroon po tayo ng problema. Ayan po. So, tip po yan ha. Matagal ko po yan bago natutunan. Marami pong kalungkutan sa aking buhay. Kasi lagi ko pong pinaghahanapan ng aking asawa. Mapagod na pagod na ako. Ang aking asawa ay tungangain, gayan sa akin. Nakatunga nga. Kaya alam niyo po, nakaawa at minsan ating mga asawa, magbago na po tayong lahat. Sino, magbago na po tayong lahat. At ang inyong pag-asa ay wala sa inyong asawa. Ang pag-asa natin sa Panginoon. Ang ating katungkulan, tuwangan natin ang ating asawa sa direksyon na kanilang ninanais para maabot at ang unang maligaya at makikinabang, pag pinagpala ang desisyon ng asawa, sino? Si Mrs. Mr. Bigay. Oh, kaya gagalingan po ninyo. Be watchful. Even the way we run the family affairs, even your relationship to your husband, the way you raise your kids, inyo po talagang tingnan kung tayo po ba'y sumasakto sa salita ng Panginoon. Number 2, what you call temporary, the enemy turns into permanent. Naomi's family meant to stay for a while, but a while turned into 10 years. Sino po rito ang tumigil no, wag itataas ang kamay sa pagginagawa niyang ministry? Eto po ha, hindi tayo ang bumubuo ng ministry. Kahit 10 melody ang mawala, the ministry will continue. Hindi po tayo indispensable. Tayo po ay replaceable. The Lord can take anyone to replace us. Hindi po tayo ang bumubuo sa ministry. Ang ministry po ang bumubuo sa atin. This woman in front of you, kaya po ako ganito ngayon. Ito po ay nahasa dahil ng ministry. Ako po ay nakinabang ng husay sa ministry na lahat ng insecurities, na lahat ng yung low self-esteem. 5 po kasi naman, ayan na namin kwento. 5 kasi kami kapatid na babae. Ate ko, ako, tapos 5 po kami. Ito ang narinig ko sa aming kapitbahay, nag-uusap, nagchichismisan. Sa Bicol, kung may Bicol, ewan ko na itinigin nyo, kaya nakman niya si Melody sa gabos, hindi mag-araki ni Chang Mila ngayon, siya ngayon pinakamakamos. Ano ibig sabihin sa Tagalog no? Kawawa naman niya si Melody. Sa 5 anak ni Chang Mila, siya ang pinakapangit. Ay, narinig ko yun para akong binaril. Ay, grade trauma yun, hindi mo alam i-handle yun. Grade 5 eh. Ang nanay ko, hindi naman ako contract. Ay, Mare, wag kang ganyan. Sige lang silang chismisan. Hindi ba sinabing, Mare, wag kang ganyan. Si Melody maganda din yan, iba nga lang. Hindi na sinabing ganun. Nag-agree ang nanay ko, hindi ko lang matandaan kasi kinalimutan ko expression ng nanay ko kasi yung magkano sa banan loob sa kanya pero hindi niya ako pinagtanggol. Daladala ko yun na ako'y pangit. Ay, naligtas ako, nabasa ko. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Sabi ko, sinungaling kayo? Sinungaling kayo, hindi totoo yan. Lahat ng kabulaanan. Doon po talaga ako. Kaya ngayon wala akong pakikya. Pagdating ko ng Amerika, I like your lips. Is that inflatable? Sabi ko, no, this is natural. I like your skin. Hey, Melody, come here. You see my tanning machine? This is how we make our skin look like yours. Sabi, oh no, this is natural. Pagkakan niyo yun, ang daming pwedeng baguhin sa'yo ng Panginoon. Nakinabang ako sa ministry. Shinake ako ng Panginoon sa ministry. Pinalakas ng Panginoon ang loob ko. I was able to speak before you. Hindi ako magaling. Wala akong magaling. Lagi akong takot. Kada tayo ko, Panginoon naman sasabihin ko, but it's the Lord. At lahat po ng yun pwedeng maranasan ng sino pa man sa bawat isa sa atin. Bawat isa po sa atin. Kaya lang ano nangyayari. Akala natin ang Bible, wala lang. Pagkabasa natin isang chapter, o pagkatapos, wala. Pero ano po yung pinanghawakan nyo na sabi nyo, para sa akin to eh. Para sa akin to eh. Bakit hindi natin inuuna ang Panginoon? Kasi hindi naniniwala na idadagdag niya ang lahat. Kasi kung naniniwala kayo na pag inuna nyo ang Panginoon, dadagdag niya, kung totoo sa inyo ang Matthew 6:33, lahat ng Kristiyano aktibo, maglilingkod sa Diyos. Pero bakit marami ang hindi naglilingkod? Kasi hindi naniniwala sa Matthew 6:33. Inaawit natin pero walang meaning, lifeless, powerless. Kaya po na ito po talaga ang susi. Nasa salita ng Panginoon. Nasa salita ng Panginoon. Dapat dumating kayo sa isang time na niyayakap nyo ito, nahahalikan nyo. Panginoon, ito, iintayin ko to. Right now po, hindi ko man masyadong i-announce. Siguro next time na lang pag nandito ako, na meron akong ginagawa na something. Ang tagal na nito in the making. Matagal-tagal na. Pero hindi ko muna sabihin. Secret, ayan po. Bawal mo nang i-announce. Ayan. When you chase better without God, you lose what matters most. Pag po hinabol nyo yung mga bagay, yung bang mas gusto nyo na yung gift kaysa sa giver. Okay? You lose what matters most. And Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and her 2 sons. Alam niyo po, doon po sa lugar na kanilang pinili, doon naubos ang mga mahal ni Naomi. Minsan po sa paghahangad natin, nawawala yung mga bagay na talaga namang the best eh. Namamatay po ang mga maraming bagay na sa atin. Alam niyo po ang namatay dyan, kanyang asawa at kanyang mga anak. And sometimes, di ba, tayo po, pinili natin, pinagpalit natin ng isang bagay, yung joy. Hindi ka na masaya. You're empty. At minsan, hinahanap natin yun sa ibang lugar, pero hindi talaga natin masusumpungan kasi nasa presensya lang po yun ng Panginoon. Ano po? I'm losing my time. When you chase better without God, you lose what matters most. Naomi left full, but Moab took it all. Her husband, her sons, her joy. Ako, diba? Nung bumalik po siya sa Bethlehem, Judah, ano sabi niya? Don't call me Naomi, call me Mara. Ano kahulugan po ng Mara? Bitter kapaitan. Kaya alam niyo po, you check your heart this morning, pero minsan po may mga kapaitan, may mga longings tayo. Parang may mga unfulfilled dreams, unfinished tasks, unfinished project, may mga unfulfilled desires. Sabi mo, tumigil ka na, pero deep inside, para bang may question, Lord, bakit? Ba't hanggang dito na lang? Ba't ganito ang buhay ko, hindi nagbabago? Bakit parang ang pamilya namin hindi masaya? Bakit? Naglilingkod naman ako sa iyo, pero bakit ganito ang buhay ko? Alam niyo, hindi po ang question ay ang Panginoon. Kasi pag binalikan mo po ang salita ng Diyos, hindi lang po basta buhay ang nais ng Panginoon. Ang gusto po ng buhay, abundant life. This is not prosperity gospel that when you serve the Lord will repay you financially or materially. But what I'm talking, it's a fulfilled life. I have a fulfilled life. Hindi po dahil kami mayaman, kaya ako sinasabing ako may fulfilled life. Alam niyo po ang pinaka-fulfilling sa akin? Alam ko na yung disenyo ng Diyos sa aking buhay ay akin pong nagampanan. Yung disenyo ng Panginoon ay aking nagampanan, na habang sinusundan ko ang Panginoon, hindi naman ipinagkait ng Diyos ang mga bagay na mabubuti para sa akin. And most especially, a family. By the way, kung ang inyo pong mga magulang, kung ang inyo pong mga anak, asawa ay hindi paligtas, your first ministry, do not ever forget, is your family. Do not go beyond to the next house without ministering to your family. Ang unang ministry mo, ang Jerusalem mo ay iyong family. Ilalaban mo yan sa Panginoon. Hindi ikaw magliligtas. Pero ilalaban mo yan sa Panginoon in prayer, in your good testimony. Talagang gagawin mo. Kasi may pangako rin. Believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, and thou shalt be saved, and thy house. Ako po inabot ng 20 years bago po lahat naubos. Yung aking pamilya, nabaptize lang. Karoon po ng pagbabago. At ang pagbabago po, ganito po ha, huwag kang maghahangad at mag-look forward ng isang bagong sitwasyon na ikaw naman ay the same pa rin. Gusto mo ng bago, kumusta? Ano naman bago mong steps? Sana iyan, mali iyan. Kahit hindi tayo mag-aral ng malalim, gusto mo ng bago, wala ka naman ginagawang bago. Gusto mo ang Diyos ay maging mabuti at matapat sa'yo, pero a faithful man shall abound with blessing. Faithful ka muna dapat. Faithful ka muna dapat. Pero gusto mo ng pagbabago, na ikaw ay sumagana, pero ang tanong, faithful ka ba? Ayan. So number 4, ito po 20 points lang. Number 4. When God empties you, it's not punishment, it's an invitation. Alam nyo, hubad, ubos. Si Naomi, ubos. Kaya nga po, kinakailangan nilang bumalik. Wala na. Ano pang reason? Alam nyo, huwag nyo hintayin mo, mahulog kayo, maubusan kayo, at dumating kayo sa pinakasukdulan. Ang isa pong wise na tao, kalabit pa rin ng Panginoon, magpakalabit ka na. Ano po? So, when God empties you, it's not punishment, it's an invitation. In verse number 6, paki-flash po, chapter 1, verse number 6, then she arose, that she might return from the country of Moab. Then she arose with her daughters-in-law, that she might return from the country of Moab, for she had heard in the country of Moab how that the Lord had visited His people in giving them bread. Alam niyo po, hindi po tayo pinaparusahan ng Panginoon pag may mga bagay po na hindi magandang nangyayari sa atin. Madalas po ang nangyayari sa atin, listen to this, ay bunga po ng ating desisyon. Bunga po ng ating desisyon. Another thing, ang nangyayari po sa atin ay pag-aano natin sa lahat ng ating itinanim. Minsan naman po, ang mga masasamang pangyayari sa atin, pwedeng redirection. Nakita ng Diyos, oops, anak, wag. Minsan kinakailangan, hindi ka makikinig kasi pag sweet and gentle voice lang, magpapadala siya ng isang malaking balakid. Doon minsan ay masakit. Para lang mahadlangan, kasi mahal ka niya, i-redirect ka niya. Kaya nga, multi ka ng ma-scam, hindi ka na-scam. Talagang grabe na, halos magbibiting ka na. Pero teka, biglang nangyari, hindi mo ma-withdraw sa banko mo, nagkaroon ng technical error, hindi mo transfer ang pera. Yung para scam. At minsan nagagalit tayo. Pag hindi natin agad nakuha yung mga bagay na gusto natin. So it's a redirection ng Panginoon. Kaya huwag po tayong masyadong mabilis mag-react. Ang pinakamaganda po talaga, nakatangi ang isang Kristyano, ito po, walang tatalo at walang kukupas. Ano po? Sa payong ito. Lahat po yung magsisimula sa panalangin. Ano ba yung panalangin na yan? Napakahirap gawin. Sino dito ang nakasolid ng prayer? Talagang prayerful. Na talagang mukhaan na talaga nakikita ng presensya ng Panginoon. O para din lang tayo nangunguros. Lord, katulad po kahapon. At ang pinakauso ngayon, Lord, copy-paste. Copy-paste. Alam niyo po, panalangin. Yung lalim na yung panalangin, ay lalim ng refleksyon ng iyong relasyon sa Panginoon. Hindi po yan sa dami pag-alam ng memory verses. Wala po yan sa ganyan. Unang sisirain ni Satanas para masira ka at sunod-sunod yon. Church attendance mo, mawawala na, wala ka ng joy sa soul winning. Pag nasira niya ang prayer life mo. Pag nasira niya ang prayer life mo. Kaya po kayo, magkaroon po kayo ng pamamahinga sa gadget. This is a good advice. Pag araw ng linggo, kung hindi nila naman gagamitin ang cellphone, o kaya kung araw ng Sabado, gusto nyo, basta isang araw, no gadget. At ilaan nyo talaga. Ang hirap po manalangin, ito ranas ko kung magiging honest kayo, kung watchful kayo. Ako watchful ako po. Ano po? Ito po ranas na ranas ko. Pag ako'y babad sa cellphone, wala, ang prayer life ko, hindi ako makaarangkada.
Amen.
Hindi po ako makaarangkada. Hindi po ako galit at ayaw sa gadget. Ang sinasabi ko, tiyakin mo na kung hindi lang naman worth ang reason ng pagharap mo diyan and communication sa mga important activities and events to connect, to fulfill something which is really official and legit. Ilayo mo ang cellphone mo sa buhay mo. Alam na kung bakit? Paglalim ng pagbabad mo sa gadget, paghirap na makaahon sa panalangin. Hindi pwedeng pagsabayin. I tried. Kaya po magkaroon kayo ng sabat pamamahinga sa cellphone. Na for example, today, Lord, wala muna, ikaw lang, Panginoon. Maaring hindi ka nananalangin, buhay ang iyong mata, bukasan yung mata, naghuhugas ka ng pinggan, pero you're communicating with the Lord. You rest yourself. Pag hindi niyo po yan ginawa, kayong mga adult, ano ang ipapamana yung kakayahan at kapangyarihan na manaway sa inyong mga anak? Pag hindi mo yun naintindihan, adik lahat ang ating mga anak sa cellphone, palayo ng palayo sa mga spiritual na bagay, hindi makapenetrate na ang salita ng Diyos. Ito po'y matinding panawagan, sapagkat ako po mismo nakikibaka. I'm having a hard time. Kaya ngayon may ugali ako na paglinggo, ayoko na magdala ng cellphone sa aking bag. Kasi it's been a habit. Pansinin nyo po, may habit kayo, hindi naman kinakailangan bubuksan nyo. Hindi naman kinakailangan titingnan nyo. Nagpipre si pastor, minsan bubuksan nyo. Minsan yung isang panoorin, yung isang reels, 10 na pala, 12 na, 15 na. At ano po yan? Ibibigay niya ang hilig mo. Pag ang hilig mo ay Miss Universe, lahat ng Miss Universe, pak, lalabas lahat yan. Ang tawag po dyan ay laser targeting, tina-target ka, automatic po yan. Pag Nike na shoes, lahat yan, sunod-sunod Nike na shoes. Napansin po ninyo? Kaya naman ikaw, aliw na aliw, bakit? Kasi hilig mo yun eh. Hindi ka napapadala ng hindi mo hilig, kaya po mas mahirap siya. Now, this is a full awareness. Be watchful. Hindi natin kayang panghawakan po yung mga bagay na dapat natin panghawakan kasi mismong may malaking nakabalandra na hawak natin. Na legit naman. Ano bang masama, di ba? This is good. But the question now is, when the good things become God's rival, the good things can become God's rival. Pag hindi po kayo naging maingat. And the last one, nagpapalakpakan na po sila. Every return is a restart. God never wastes a comeback. Alam niyo po, bumalik po sila. Bagamat may bitterness, bumalik po. Sabi niya, huwag mo na akong tawagin Naomi. Call me Nara. Inubusan ako. Pero alam niyo po ba, at the end of the story, nakabalik po siya sa kanya. Alam niyo, yun lang po, napakaganda sa Panginoon. Kahit gaano tayo kapalpak, minsan hindi mo na kayang patawarin ng sarili. I have that ugali po. Yung I cannot accept myself anymore, na parang yan ako sa Diyos, hindi ko na kayang lumapit. Dahil, Panginoon, eto na naman ako. Parang bang napapagod na akong patawarin ng Diyos ang aking sarili. You have that feeling. Hindi mo na matik na pinapatawad ka ng Diyos kasi ulit-ulit na lang. Pero alam niyo po, yun po ang napakaganda sa Panginoon. Parang pagmamahal natin tayo mga makasalanan na nagmamahal sa ating mga anak. Di ba kahit kano kapalpak ang ating mga anak? May konting sermon ka, sige na nga, halika. Kaya tingnan po natin ang ating buhay this morning. Huwag po buhay ng iba. Tingnan natin, ano yung mga bagay na dapat pong mga babala sa aking buhay na this is a clear warning. Malamig ng puso ko. Ito nagpapalayo sa akin sa Diyos. Ito iba na yung direction ko. This is a clear warning. Mga paalala po sa atin. At ang napakaganda po, it's up to you. Hindi mo na po questionin ng Panginoon. Hindi ka kasi tataboy ng Panginoon. Lagi ang Panginoon. Lagi lang po naghihintay para po sa atin. So, nasaan po ang ating mga desisyon? Nasa inyo po yan. Hawak po ng bawat isa sa atin. But if I were you, gaano man kaigsi o kahaba pa po ang ating buhay, mamumuhay ako na nasa presensya ng Panginoon. Wala ka pong katalo-talo. Dumating man ang kamatayan ngayon, dumating man bukas, loobin pa ng Diyos na 10 taon, 20 years, wala na pong pinakamagandang lugar. At believe me, hey, yung mga hinahabol po ng ibang mga kayamanan, nandun din po sa paglilingkod. Kasi sinungaling, yung po lagi sinasabi, napakaliit ng kamay mo para pagpalain mo ang buhay mo. Iaasa mo sa napakaliit mong palad. Didiskarte ka gamit ang 2 mong palad na wala sa kalooban ng Diyos. Talong-talo ka. Kaya po yung mga hinahabol ng ibang Kristiyano, iniwan ang Panginoon, iniwan ang gawain, iniwan ang simbahan, iniwan ang ministry. Nung mga kumusta ko sila, alam niyo po, nagpangita kami, marami sa kanila. At nung aking i-balance ang buhay, sabi ko, Lord, tinan mo nga naman. Sa totoo lang, Panginoon, mas nahigitan ko pa siya. Ito po yung sinasabi ko lang sa harapan ng Panginoon. Siyempre, of course, nito sa tao. And this is not to brag, but to encourage everyone na yung mga hinahabol po natin, nasa Panginoon po lahat yun. Isang masayang tahanan? Oh my goodness. Kaya ba yan? Ipagkakait ba yun sa'yo ng Panginoon? Maayos at dissenting boy, pagkakait ba yun sa'yo ng Panginoon? Hindi po yung pagkakait. Ang totoo lang, kaya po nawawala sa atin, mali ang paraan. Lumalampas tayo sa salita, ina-underestimate natin ang kapangyarihan ng salita ng Diyos. Nakabalanda na hindi natin kayang panghawakan. Sabi ng aking 3 kapatid, mga asaway Amerikano, may maayos na buhay, sabi nila. Kawawa naman si Ate Lucy, nag-asawa ng pastor. Yan, kumakarating ng Amerika. Pila kami ng embassy, 7 pastor's wife kami. Ako lang ang nakapasa. Opo. Siyempre, malulungkot yung mga pastor's wife, sabi ko, kinumfort ko na sila, sabi ko, ganito, kasi may kwento ako, gusto lang ng Panginoon, ipakita doon sa mga kapatid ko na hindi totoo yun. Ay, kasi wala kayong kapatid na gano'n. Ako meron, kaya nilusok ako ng Diyos. Alam nyo, di ba, hindi ko kayang i-ignore yun, kasi ito kami, ba't ako lang ang lumusot? Kasi gusto yung pakita na parang, anak, hindi mo na kayo mag-asawa ng Amerikano, mag-asawa ka ng panguwang ilo, mahalang kaluluwa tinawag sa ministry, punta ka na kami. Ito pa, teacher ako sa Enverga. Kami yung mga unang batch. Siyempre, Kristiyano ako. Si Pepe Medina, ewan ko kilala yung si Pepe Medina, yung dating pare na naging Baptist. Di nagturo sa church namin. Ako naman, hatak-hatak ko siguro mga 70 to 80. Ewan ko sino nakakatanda dito na nagdala ako ng mga estudyante. Di ang dami. Ay, ito naman, Brother Pepe Medina, inupakan ng Katoliko. Kami po, ang mga nagpapaluha ng berhen. Inaalis lang daw nila dito, nilalagyan ng asin, tinutusukan dito, dinaluha ang berhen. Nakaw, yung aking mga estudyante sumbong sa nanay. At ako'y maligaya, hay-nahay ako spiritually. Ang dami mga batang tumanggap sa Panginoon, hay-nahay ako. Pagpasok ko, Lunes, ang daming tao sa office. Sa office, yung lahat ng head ng Enverga nandoon. Mrs. Quenza, you sit down. Oh, yes, sit down. Did you invite our students here? Oh, yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it's Sunday. Nag-testify ako, you know, ma'am, the Lord changed my life. That's why that's the only thing I know for our students to have a changed life. No, Miss Quenza. You promised me you will never invite our students to your church. Why not? No, you stop talking. Habang nagaganyan siya, marami sila. Sabi ko, ano ako? Para ako sabi kong si Judas na ipinagpalit ang Panginoon sa 30 pieces of silver. Talagang mabuti na nga, nagbabasa ako ng salita ng Diyos. Alam ko yung kwento ni Judas. Sabi ko, ganyan siya ng ganyan. Sabi ko, hindi ako si Judas. You better resign right now. Ma'am, I cannot promise that I will not invite our students. No. If not, you better resign. Resign na yung bagang, bit-bit ko yung bag ko. Ma'am, I'm resigning right now. Uwi ako sa bahay, wala si Pastor Abel at nasa Cebu conference. Pagdating ko ng bahay, Lord, wala na akong trabaho. Lord naman. Tawag ako kay Mama, wala na akong trabaho. Bakit? Kasi huwag na daw ako mag-in, pinag-assign ako. Sabi ni Ama, tama yun. Ito mga asawa ko, tama to. Eto, baka looban ng Diyos. Wala na sweldo din yung na. Kasi bago ako maging teacher, ako nagtitinda ng isda, pastor's wife. Pero hindi naman yung, bili na kayo dyan, bili na kayo dyan. Hindi naman, nakaskaya raw, cute. Okay, kayo, wag niyong papahiya ha, ang mga disenyo ng mga paghahanap buhay. Nagtitinda ng isda, wag sunog. Styro, ay di cute. Oo, nagtitinda ako ng isda, pero version cute. Ayan ha. Ay, ganun yung aking trabaho. Ay, naku, ako'y nag-resign. Ay, di nga nga. Ay, dati na kami nakaka-Jollibee na eh. Oo. Dati kami nakaka-Jollibee. Tuwan-tuwan na kami. At nakaka-Jollibee na. Maganda magpasweldo in Verga eh. In fairness, maganda magpasweldo yan. Sabi ko, ay, Panginoon, paano na? Ayaw ko na magtinda ng isda. Ay, teacher na si Mrs. Spencer in Verga eh. Magtinda ka ng isda. Ay, niyawi ko na itong sa pinto. Ay, kaya susunod kayo sa Panginoon. Si Pastor Pinyon! Pastor Pinyon ng San Pablo. Pastor Abel, may nagpapaalis puntang Amerika. Tayo mag-apply. Sabi naman ang asawa ko, ano mo si Pastor, passport ngayon wala? Ay, tayo susubok. Ala, dilaggas, subok. Alam niyo, 2 months. Nakaalis. Naku. Yung lahat ng kanyang baon na pocket money, binalik sa ATM. Sabi ng ATM, ang dami. Sabi ko, Lord, ito na. Eto na, Lord. Ang bunga ng pagsunod. Ano ako yung, ay, hindi ba ako yung, ako yung takot at marami yung pinagalit. Eh, first time ko, mga 30 or 50,000. First time ko talaga yung mga ganong panahon noon. Talagang ako yung nagpa-escort pa sa akin, kapatid. Talagang, katunako na yung asama ko. Alam nyo, iniisip ko, ano kaya, kung mas pinili ko yung, sige ma'am, I will not invite our students. Yes ma'am, yes. Ano kayang kwento meron kami? Kaya talaga, ang dami pa, ubos na utas natin. Ang dami pa. Alam nyo, talagang hindi yan hambog, hindi yan yabang. Talagang yan ay gawa ng Diyos. Hindi mo kinakailangan maging magaling. No? Kung wala kang patotoong ganyan, tinatanong ko, bakit? Hindi sakto katulad ng kwento ko, pero dapat meron kang patotoo na talagang gawa ito ng Diyos, ito gawa ng tao. Diyos lang talaga ito, kasi buhay ang Diyos. Tayo po'y manalangin. Panginoon, salamat po. Marami kaming kwento, katotoo, hindi para ipagyabang ang sino pa man. Kundi nais namin ipakita sa mga kababaihan, Panginoon. Buhay na buhay ka, Panginoon, at buhay ang iyong salita. At ang kapangyarihan ng iyong salita ay depende, Panginoon, sa aming pananampalataya. Kahit anong iyak namin, kahit anong lupasay namin, pero kung hindi po kami sasakto sa Hebrews 11:6, but without faith, it is impossible to please Him, for he that cometh to God must believe that He is, and that He is a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him. Panginoon, ang nagpapakibok sa iyo ay ang pananampalataya namin. Hindi ang aming galing, kakayanan, accomplishment, kundi paano kami nagtitiwala, Panginoon, sa iyo. Kaya, Panginoon, dalangin ko po, nawa po, katulad po ni Naomi, Panginoon, kung may mga bagay kaming iniwan, kami po ay magbalik loob sa iyo, Panginoon, para maranasan namin muli yung fresh start, Panginoon, yung isang panibagong simula. Salamat po, hindi ka nagtataboy, hindi kami inaari mong tunay na anak. Nagaano man ang pagbagsak, hindi yun ang tinatanong mo, Panginoon, kundi laging kami handang bukas ang iyong puso na kami muli tanggapin. Salamat, Panginoon. Words are not enough to describe who you are. This finite mind, hindi namin kayang unawain how you work. Ako po, kaya ko lang sabihin kasi may kwento akong naranasan po, Panginoon. Nakwento ito, Panginoon, ang personal encounter ko, Panginoon, sa iyo. Salamat po, Panginoon. Kahit sino sa amin pwede. Kahit sino sa amin ay pwede magkaroon ng kwento na pwede namin sabihin dahil ikaw ay buhay, dahil yung salita ay aming pinanghawakan. Pinupuli ka namin, pinapasalamatan lahat ng papuri sa iyo. Salamat, Panginoon, sa ngalan po ng Panginoong Jesus. Amen.